Donald Trump, just weeks away from being invested with the immense powers of the presidency, calling for a criminal investigation into Liz Cheney over witness tampering after a report from House Republicans singled her out, accusing her of colluding with a witness on the January 6th committee and recommending she be investigated for possible criminal prosecution. The president-elect weighing in on Tuesday's report just 3 hours ago, saying this on his Truth social platform, quote, Liz Cheney could be in a lot of trouble based on the evidence obtained by the subcommittee, which states that numerous federal laws were likely broken by Liz Cheney, and these violations should be investigated by the FBI, end quote, 3:11 a.m. this morning. The president-elect there, referring to the report released yesterday by a Republican-controlled House subcommittee, alleging what it called, quote, the failures and politicization of the January 6th Select Committee, end quote. The report calls the committee, quote, a political weapon with a singular focus to deceive the public into blaming President Trump for the violence on January 6th and tarnish the legacy of his first presidency.
Looks like Donald Trump's MAGA allies are getting his fascist plans into place by releasing a report targeting Liz Cheney over her work on the January 6th committee that revealed the damning events that he took part in. They claimed it was nothing more than a political weapon with a focus to deceive the public, blame Trump for January 6th, and tarnish his legacy. So I guess these loyal Republicans were doing that right after MAGA attacked.
There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. No question about it.
The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters. He should have immediately denounced the mob when he saw what was unfolding.
All I can say is count me out. Enough is enough.
So while the incoming administration continues to try to both make Americans forget about those accurate condemnations from Republicans and coordinate their plan to carry out his promises of vengeance, Liz Cheney responded. The January 6th committee's hearings and report features scores of Republican witnesses, including many of the most senior officials from Trump's own White House, campaign, and administration. All of this testimony was painstakingly set out in thousands of pages of transcripts, made along with a highly detailed and meticulously sourced 800-page report. The Department of Justice conducted its own independent investigation and reached the same fundamental conclusions. Chairman Loudermilk's interim report intentionally disregards the truth and the Select Committee's tremendous weight of evidence, and instead fabricates lies and defamatory allegations in an attempt to cover up what Donald Trump did. Their allegations do not reflect a review of the actual evidence and are a malicious and cowardly assault on the truth. No reputable lawyer, legislator, or judge would take this seriously. She called out Chairman Barry Loudermilk, who led this report and called for an investigation. This is the same guy that the committee revealed gave a guided tour of the Capitol on January 5th to some folks that ended up taking part in the attack the next day. So I think it's safe to say that he has a vested interest in getting his own revenge for being exposed like this.
It has begun here at the Washington Monument, Washington, D.C. Say hello to Facebook.
Hey, what's going on, man? Glad to be here, bro.
This is our fearless leader.
Hey, baby.
Danny Hamilton.
Check out my flag I made, guys. You see it? There you go, baby. That's for a certain person.
That's right. That's for somebody special. Somebody special. All right. We are basically at the Capitol with probably close to 2 million true American patriots. They are swarming and converging, mainly from Constitution Avenue, but from all routes in. There's no escape, Pelosi, Schumer, Nadler. We're coming for you. We're coming in like white on rice for Pelosi, Nadler, Schumer, even you, AOC. We're coming to take you out. We'll pull you out by your hairs. How about that, Pelosi? Go, might as well make yourself another appointment. I'll get done with you. You're gonna need a sign up on top of that bald head.
They showed that this guy, who was amped up since daylight on January 6th to do his part in advancing on the Capitol, openly showed and recorded his intent to physically attack members of Congress that MAGA doesn't like. The committee also revealed surveillance footage of Representative Loudermilk's January 5th tour that included people taking what the committee showed to be strategic pictures of hallways, tunnels, and staircases. The revelations were so damning, Loudermilk went to friendly media outlets to try to get the heat off of his ass.
They claim to have evidence that they don't have. If they have evidence, it's evidence that the Capitol Police have, and I can tell you they don't have evidence because what they're claiming never happened.
That claim of no evidence was simply him saying, trust me, they don't have evidence, despite the evidence that they showed. That was just one aspect of his flailing dismissals, because he went on Laura Ingram's show to deny that he gave a tour at all.
You know, the original charge was we gave tours of the Capitol. There were no tours of the Capitol that day. Video evidence is there were no tours of the Capitol. Then they say, oh, it was of the Capitol complex. There were hundreds of people in the Capitol complex, the House office buildings. In fact, it was the Democrat leadership ordered the gift shop open on the 5th because there were so many visitors there. So Mickey Sherrill's accusation that there were no tours allowed, well, there were no tours allowed at the Capitol, but there were plenty of people at the House office buildings because it was just another day. And now, when it comes out, and no mistake about it, the Capitol Police were clear that they are trained in looking for suspicious activity, and the group I had in the House office buildings did nothing suspicious.
I mean, it was a total lie. I'm just going to say
on it.
You know, did y'all notice that at first he said he didn't have a tour group because no tours were allowed that day? But as he kept spinning, he accidentally admitted that he, in fact, had a tour group.
You know, the original charge was we gave tours of the Capitol. There were no tours of the Capitol that day.
A few moments later.
No mistake about it. The Capitol Police were clear that they are trained in looking for suspicious activity, and the group I had in the House office buildings did nothing suspicious.
I mean, it was a total lie.
Should close the door on it.
So were there no official tours and he had his own personal tour group that he led? Because he admitted that the group he had was there and didn't do anything suspicious, except take those random pictures, which he also tried to explain away.
No, actually, what they were taking a picture of is I took the family, and of course the other folks were with them, have 2 young kids that wanted to see the little trains that take congressmen. So I took them to show them where the trolley was in the Rayburn Tunnel.
But why do you think pictures were being taken of the stairwell, around security?
If you go to that stairwell, there's a golden eagle sconce that's on the wall. That's what he was taking a picture of. I mean, these are folks who had never been to Washington, D.C., and they were here to visit their congressman.
His story refused to add up. And even though his interviews with folks like Laura Ingram were obvious attempts to reject the accusations and footage, even they got their wires crossed, because Ingram complicated his story further by saying he was cleared by Capitol Police due to no evidence of him entering the building with a tour group, she said. But we already heard Loudermilk himself admit that he did a long time ago. So someone was lying. So it's looking like Representative Loudermilk has just as many reasons to go after Liz Cheney as Donald Trump does.
Suggested that congressional Republicans had led groups of visitors on so-called recon missions on the Capitol on January 5th, 2021. Remember that? Now, the implication was obvious that Republicans, elected officials, were in on the plot. They were insurrectionists themselves. Yes, Loudermilk, we find out, did nothing wrong. In a letter to House Administration Committee ranking member Rodney Davis, Capitol Police Chief Tom Manger wrote that officers had reviewed security footage and found no evidence that Loudermilk entered the Capitol with the group of constituents at all.